and welcome! Today I have been requested to review Advance Wars for the Game Boy Advance. I knew of this series for a while now, but had no desire to play it. While I do enjoy strategy games from time to time, I've never really been the biggest fan of the style that's presented by Advance Wars, but who knows? Perhaps I might have missed out on a great little gem. Today's video is sponsored by 16-Bit Store. At 16-Bit, we pride ourselves in our designs and the quality of our printed products. From our display stands to our styluses, our cases, shells, and more. Explore our selection at 16bitstore.com today and get 15% off your next order with offer code 16bitreview when you order 2 or more items. Now, from what I understand, Advance Wars is the Game Boy Advance entry into the long line of Wars games made by Nintendo, dating back to the Famicom. And it's the first game in the series to be released outside of Japan. It's a turn-based strategy game where you command an army of soldiers, tanks, planes, and ships to fight a variety of enemy nations who are trying to invade yours. You play the game by commanding your army to attack the enemy, protect your assets, capture cities, and eventually either annihilating the enemy outright or taking their headquarters. As a turn-based strategy game, it's quite easy to understand and to play, and I feel it's a good introduction to the genre for newer players. With a mandatory, straightforward, and arguably well-explained tutorial that I've heard is annoying for returning fans, but as a new player myself, I found it a welcomed addition. I just wish they didn't hide the other options behind its completion. But what I think I like most about Advance Wars is the fact that it's clearly a game that was designed to be played portably on the Game Boy Advance. That means that missions are bite-sized and doesn't sprawl into multi-hour campaigns. So if you had to pause the game in the middle of a mission, you'll be able to put the game down, go and do whatever it is that you needed to do, and when you finally get the opportunity to play it again, you're not completely lost on what's happening. I also like the variety within the game's modes, from its quick play war room to the campaign story, as well as the various multiplayer modes. There's a lot of variety that is here from this game's rather small size. From its maps to the ability to capture cities, factories, to make new forces, different commanding officers to add unique buffs, the fog of war to space things out. It's all nicely crafted. And if this is the kind of game that you like, then it is an amazing game to get for your Game Boy Advance. If I had issues with this game, it's the fact that it isn't my kind of strategy game. While I do like building up military forces and invading enemy nations, I want it to be for a reason that I want, other than this is the objective of this mission. This is why when I play this kind of game on my computer, I typically lean towards games like Civilizations, which has a greater focus on building an empire than crushing your enemies. And that's not even mentioning the fact that the AI in Advance Wars cheats. You see, in both Advance Wars 1 and 2, the AI can see through the fog of war. Except if you're in trees, in which case it won't attack unless it's literally on top of it. So if your units are out in the open, or if you have air units on the map, they are basically sitting ducks and you're going to get blindsided by the opponent beelining it to whatever enemies that are out in the open. Apparently, this was fixed when the game made its way to the DS. But I don't think that's enough to warrant not getting this game. Against human players, everyone is playing by the same rules, so it is fair. And even then, I'd actually prefer a cheating AI with a campaign than no campaign like the earlier Wars games. And while I'm personally not the biggest fan of the series, I think I might have been when I did have a lot more time to play games like this. And for the price of the Wii U eShop version, it's a nice addition to my game collection. Though, from a quick search on eBay and seeing the original game's price point, I think if you were going to pick up a physical copy of this game, you may want to consider looking at the DS version first, since it seems to be a much better value and a much more polished game. Or you can just wait out Nintendo and get the Switch remake if they ever release it. But anyways, thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you have yourself a good day, and as always, take care.